Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we talk about Surf Ninja, starring Ernie Reyes Jr. Hopefully I got his last name right. Not the junior part, but the Reyes part. And Rob Schneider. Hopefully I got the Schneider part right of his name as well. Of course, it's Rob Schneider from SNL fame and all of the Adam Sandler movie fame. First off, I'd like to say this movie does not get made without the great success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or the second one, not only because Ernie Reyes Jr. was like the stunt fighter, I guess you could say stunt fighter, in the first movie, and then he was just one of the stars in the second movie, just because this movie is very similar, but a little bit more corny and goofier than the Ninja Turtles movies, but it's definitely aimed at the same audience, which you got young teenage kids, is the audience that they're trying to aim for in this movie. And you know what? I don't really think in today's time period, in today's day, today's movies or shows are aimed for teenage boys, especially in this age group from like 12. I know that's like preteen, but 12 to 15-year-olds, let's say, would be like the core audience of this. Maybe 18, 19, but it's more for those 12 to 15, those preteens, early teenagers. So this movie also has Leslie Nielsen in it. He is the villain of the movie. He's kind of half chemical, kind of like when he tried to take over this small kingdom, you know, he actually got his butt kicked. So this movie is very, very, very goofy and silly. It's a very silly movie. In fact, when you watch how Leslie Nielsen takes over the kingdom, you know, he basically gets his butt kicked at the end. It's kind of like a wonder that he's able to take it over. And just like his, you know, he's supposed to be this tough guy, but he's not really tough at all. And his soldiers are poorly trained. Everything's made for comedic purposes. The most memorable part about Leslie Nielsen's character, I guess, is when the phone rings. He's always trying to rush it to answer the phone before his answering machine picks it up. You know, back in the day, kids, you know, for you teenagers of anybody born in the year 2010 or before, I hardly get anybody in that age group watching my videos. But it was once upon a time when people would call, you didn't have a voicemail on your phone. You actually had like a recorder that you had to push play on to get your recordings, and it would answer the phone for you. It wasn't attached to your phone. So anyway, so this movie, his comedy mostly is trying to run to get the phone before his tape machine, his recorder, answers the phone for him. If you don't know what this movie is about, Ernie Reyes Jr. here, his parents were the king and queen of this small kingdom. They get killed over the rebellion of Leslie Nielsen's character, and they're kind of raised by I guess he was a citizen, or was he the citizen or just a mercenary? He was raised, or was he a merchant? I don't know. He's just raised by somebody else off the kingdom, so that Leslie Nielsen can't find the two sons of the king and queen. And the lead bodyguard, the head bodyguard, is overseeing them, protecting them behind the scenes and the shadows. And actually, he is played by Ernie Reyes Sr., so it's pretty cool to see Junior and Senior together in a movie. My favorite movie, by the way, of Ernie Reyes Jr. happens to be the one that's like really bad everybody craps on. Is now the name just went off. It went off into the sunset. We'll come back. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. It was an offshoot of Conan the Barbarian. Man, it starred Bridget. If you know what the title of the movie is, put in the commentary. But anyways, he's like 5 or 6 years old in that movie. He knows karate. He's like a spoiled brat. In that one, he plays a prince as well. He's a spoiled brat prince. And the best part of it is when our lead character takes him over her knee and spanks him. Anyways, enough about that. It'll come back to me too. It starts with an S, right? Oh, man, it's killing me. Don't you hate when that happens? You got it right here in your brain. You start thinking about it. It hurts. Let's get back to Surf Ninjas, will we? Rob Schneider is hilarious in this movie. He's a very young Rob Schneider in this movie. But he is, like, everybody's supposed to be comedic, but, you know, him being like an actual comedic He is one that kind of carries the movie in a way. I mean, his lines and the words he says. Everybody has like a special power. So Ernie Reyes Jr., you know, he's going to be this great warrior. His little brother can see the future by playing video games. You know, hey, it's the 90s, teenagers, right? That's the aim. And Rob Schneider takes his special ability as if he says, what if? It'll come true. So he's always saying, what if? And then he says, what if my powers ain't true, aren't real? And then, you know, completely ruins his sole purpose of being in the movie. And, you know, he's the one who thinks that he's the actual prince of this lost kingdom, or this kingdom that got taken over. So let's just look at here at my notes. Oh yeah. All right. Not very much notes here. You do get some pretty good fighting choreography, but because it's meant to be comic, you know, it comes off very silly. This is definitely, like I said, aimed for preteens. It was kind of hard for me to get through it as an adult. I loved the movie as a kid, you know, because that's the audience it was aimed for, you know. And I love fighting, like karate movies and stuff like that. So, you know, as a kid, I really did enjoy it. I thought like the fighting scenes were awesome as a child, as a teenager, not. Well, I was still, you know, I was a teenager at that time. So yeah, I did like it. I thought Ernie Reyes Jr. was going to become like a great action star when he got older. You know, you do more serious stuff. You know, I thought he might be. I think really he could have been the next. You know, after the tragic death of Brandon Lee. You know, I think he probably could have tucked into that scenario, but maybe his height difference, maybe. You know, like I say, he was more of a comic guy. Maybe he couldn't really pull off the seriousness of a Brandon Lee. But, you know, for other reasons. He's in other movies. Like, he's in Rundown. He's the guy that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fights out there in the woods. And, you know, they're flying from tree to tree, kicking his butt. So he didn't completely disappear from Hollywood. And I think he's actually like a stunt coordinator of fight choreography in Hollywood, so you know he's more behind the scenes now, but I thought he was going to be like the next big star. And if you have teenagers, young teenagers, kids, you're going to like this. However, you know, the 90s and 80s movies are like real different from the what you would probably find in movies today for this type of audience. So like I did a review of Stand By Me, which has teenagers, you know, kids about the same age group, maybe a little younger what we have in this movie, but they're all sitting around smoking cigarettes. In this movie, you got, I believe it's Rob Schneider's character. He's, you know, he's reading a Playboy, stuff like that. So, you know, 80s and 90s movies are a little different when they show teenagers. That's kind of why, also, you know, kids back then look older than kids these days. That's why you could have like a 30-year-old playing a high school kid back in the 80s and 90s. At least these actors, they're around the age that they're supposed to be playing. Like I said, this is a young Rob Schneider who really looks young. He's supposed to be like in his late teens. He looks like a late teenager, even though he's probably like 24 or so, you know, early 20s. I think Ernie Reyes Jr. is probably the age that he's supposed to be playing, and then the little brother, he's definitely the age he's supposed to be playing. It's a fun movie. It was nice getting back in touch with my childhood and remembering and saying, I thought this movie, thinking, man, this movie is a lot better 30 years ago than it is right now. And it was, like I said, it was kind of hard. Leslie Nielsen, you know, this is probably one of his worst movies at that time period. You know, it was after his Naked Gun roles, and probably before Mr. Magoo, stuff like that. So it's not his best movie. He has a small part. He might have 10 minutes of screen time in the whole movie. And like I said, the first time you just see him running to get to the phone before the answer machine answers it. Maybe you see that at the end, because it's Leslie Nielsen. He's in his upper age. You know, his fighting scenes aren't the top notch. But overall, you know, it was just good getting back to the past. If you've never seen Surf Ninjas and you're in your 40s, I would stay away from it. I'll recommend this with great caution. But if you have preteens, teenagers, 12 to 15 years old, they might enjoy this movie. They might enjoy it. So if you got younger kids, you might like it. Just understand that there is a scene where Rob Schneider, one of them was reading a Playboy. Don't show any of the photographs. You just see him reading a magazine. On the top it says Playboy. You don't even see what girls on the cover, I don't think. Anyways, hopefully you enjoy this. Hey, if you ever seen Surf Ninjas, let me know what you think about it back when you watched the first time. And did you enjoy it? Did you always think it was just a stupid movie? And like I said, this movie wouldn't have made it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's kind of like you had a spring of these kind of movies. You had this one, and then you had like the other movie, Three Ninjas was actually, Three Ninjas came out at this time as well. And then I think there was probably a couple other goofy karate movies that came out after the Ninja Turtle movie. Anyways, have a great day, and until next time, bye.